Hey everyone! Welcome back to some more Let's Play Vampire the Masquerade-Bloodlines.
Hey there! Need a date?
No, I'm good. Thank you though, miss. I still like your skirt. In the last episode, we did a lot of side questing. We got our walking legs on, and we investigated the tattoo parlor, where we had learned Carson, Arthur Kilpatrick's bounty hunter, had gone in order to track down McGee, the gentleman he was, well, needed to be brought in for his, like, skipping bail or something of the sort. In any case, we didn't find Carson there, or McGee, but we did discover that McGee had been interested in doing some modeling for Stanley Gimble, the owner and proprietor of Gimble Prosthetics, also located here in Santa Monica. We called him to see if he had seen McGee, and he said he did not, which was a shame, because he had a lucrative proposition for him, because he needed some modeling done for his prosthetics. I suppose, like, what is it? It's like taking pictures and or having molds done, I suppose, of your arms, so that he has something to compare his prosthetics with a normal human arm, or what have you. In any case, we could use the money, so we decided to go ahead and pay Mr. Stanley Gimble a visit ourselves to see if we could fill that role. We found Mr. Gimble very willing to take us on as a modeler, and he went back to get his equipment set up. After spending a few awkward minutes in the waiting room with you, viewer, we decided that we couldn't bear it any longer. We were out of things to talk about, and so we decided, well, you know what, let's go ahead and see if he's ready. And we found a rather horrific-looking back area there by Stanley Gimble's. It was not at all what I expected. Well, actually, it was exactly what I expected because I played the game before. But it wasn't what Lotaeri had expected. We discovered some rather disgusting and not well cleaned implements back there. Surgical units as well. And tools used to look like create amputees. We also discovered Carson there. And McGee. McGee was quite dead, with various limbs, I think all his limbs, cut off of him. And Carson was missing his trigger finger, at the very least. He showed us this, in fact. We then discovered Gimble, who came bursting out of a back room. He had armed himself, and was very interested in killing us. We defended ourselves with a magnificent knife. And, well, freed Carson, who also let us know he was not doing any more work for Mr. Kilpatrick. We then went to Mr. Kilpatrick and let him know. We got paid for finding Carson, and then Kilpatrick hired us to do some of Carson's job. He wanted another gentleman found, Mr. Mike Durbin. The person who had last contacted Arthur about him had been his girlfriend, Marion Maronette, who had been staying in the apartment across from ours, in the apartments above the pawn shop. When we investigated her apartment, we discovered she was not there, but Mike had left a mail for her on her answering machine, I suppose, that she did leave there. And we discovered that he had gone downtown to meet someone named Milton. While trying to find Muddy Mike Durbin for Arthur Kilpatrick, you heard an answering machine message that said he is headed downtown to Skyline Apartments 2A, the residence of a Mr. Milton. Even though Arthur has cut you loose, maybe you can get some money for finding him. We had overheard a muscular red-headed gentleman who also seemed to have fangs like us in the diner talking to a Mr. Milton, and who mentioned a Mr. Durbin. So we are not the only person looking for them, and may not be the only kindred looking for them either. We went back to Kilpatrick and we let him know what we found, and he paid us for that job as well. We then went back to the hospital, and we were able to navigate the upper rooms, although we were caught. We managed to majesty our ways out of trouble, however, and we convinced the guard to give us his keys. With those, we were able to access some more of the rooms, and with our increased computer use, and the use of auspex, increasing our wits, we accessed the computer terminals therein, and we were able to deactivate the camera to the prescription room, find a box of drugs, and bring it back to Trip. And now we're going to talk about all the skills that we increased in the last episode, which is quite a few of them. So, we've improved our strength a bit. getting us 4 melee combat and now 2 unarmed. So now we can handle ourselves in a fight if it comes down to it. At least we can dish out some punishment. We still can't take any, though, with a stamina ranking of only 1. Our bashing soak is just 1 point. That's not very good. We have 2 points in computer now, having purchased the second book from Trip. We discovered as well that if you want to do the cheat I'm doing, which isn't really a cheat, but it's taking advantage of how the game used to work, that if you want to buy a skill book that you sell to a merchant in order to buy it multiple times, you must do that right then and there when you sell them the book initially, or they get removed from their inventory. I had to replay about 45 minutes a game. I didn't care. It was worth it for the extra 3 experience points that we were able to earn. So we now understand enough about computers that we can probably, I would guess with the 2 computer skill, that we know how to run basic programs that everyone knows how to run. They're not something magical to us. We understand the basics of how they work. We know what a USB plug is. We know how to turn one on and turn one off. We know what it means if a computer doesn't post and all sorts of stuff like that. We might even be able to work with a BIOS with a computer's skill of 2. Probably can't write our own compiler, but that's software, right? That's a bit different than computer. Ability to operate computers and other devices is what it says. Alright, so anyway, so we have 2 points in this now. We have 2 points in firearms as well. So I suppose we know we're decent with them. We know what to aim at, and we know what part of the gun is the dangerous part. I would imagine we know how to turn the safety off, how to clean the weapon, and so on as well, with 2 points in firearms. But we're not very accurate with it quite yet. We also picked up 2 points in stealth, thanks to the Voyeur Fields guide. Who would have known that trying to spy on naked people sneakily would increase our ability to not be detected by anyone, or at least look inconspicuous when we're in the bushes? How about that? That's pretty amazing. Thank you. We made sure to read that book twice. We didn't skip a single thing there. And now we are here back on the beach. My plan is to go up there and get the astrolite for Mercurio. I think we'll earn enough experience points for doing that then we can level my charisma 1 point. I would like to have a 5 persuasion. And then we will go and see if we can investigate the hospital again for Lily. We know that the last lead we had put her there at the hospital looking for blood from the blood bank. But we don't know if she made it out or not. So we'll check the corpse. We'll check the computer in the morgue and see if she isn't there. If she's a vampire, she might be accidentally in torpor. I think that's the correct way to say that. She might be incapacitated. We might have to free her from that fate. And with a potential for computer use or hacking, that shouldn't be too difficult for us to do. Alright everyone, here are the thugs that beat up Mercurio. I don't know if I trust that Mercurio was telling us the truth. But maybe these thugs will tell us if they were telling the truth. I remember enough about this area that I can get to this area of it, at the very least, and then we can see if maybe they're talking about their exploits. So we have one member outside. Looks like he's acting as a sentry for them, guarding the gate, literally. Another gentleman is inside, staring at the front door. They must have a TV right by this wall that they're looking at, as I can't imagine he would just stand outside and stare. We want to stick to the darkness. This would be like using...
wear rings?
Lots of people wear rings.
Yeah, a lot of girls wear rings.
Not just girls.
Man, there are only two kind of guys that wear rings, and I don't remember you winning a Super Bowl.
I'm just saying, dude from the beach could take a beat.
Yeah, I don't think I ever seen a guy get worked like that and not fall apart. Honestly, I don't like it. I don't care if someone was coming. I think we should have wasted that good fellow-looking mother when we had the chance.
Why? We got his money.
I got a bad feeling. We should have heard ambulances. Someone must have found them.
Hey, you see me tonight? I was all like, "Wata!" Did that karate kick on him like Miyagi Sensei and shit.
Yeah? What are you gonna do if that Mercurial dude or somebody comes back for his money? Should kill them.
Chill, man. Never seen you so damn scared before.
Watch yourself, man. All right? I ain't scared. I'm sensible. We don't know who that mother was for. Could be the mob or something. I don't know.
The mob? You do know that this is Southern California, right?
Look, all I'm saying is I'd sleep a whole lot better if we'd have flushed that guy. You just deal me some damn cards, all right?
Well, that answers that question. So they absolutely did, it sounds like, assault him. I guess it comes with the territory. Working with, trying to do things in an underhanded way means you have to work with people who themselves may be underhanded. And Mercurio, indeed, was an amateur. He should have had some help, or backup, before he met with these guys. It also sounds like they would have had no qualms about killing them. So I will have no qualms about killing these guys. I think you can probably talk your way through this if you wish. But we're going to get our hands dirty. Oh. They have a pit bull back here, guarding the back door, so we're not going in that way.
What the? Dude, who turned off the power? I was just about to unlock Shen
Fix the
Long.
lights, damn it.
You turn on the power, bitch.
Fix the lights, Get the lights or I'll shove that control up your ass, Al.
All right, man. Shit.
I feel bad for Al. Poor Al's not going to work for these guys for too much longer.
Why do I always have to get the lights, man? Al, get the lights. Al, pick up the pizza. Clean up the bloodstains, Al. Shit, I need to hire an assistant or something. Goddamn lights.
Well, Al, there's some bloodstains you won't have to pick up. Your friends will have to do that. We could kill all the thugs here. I don't see why I would need to do that, though. We'll take advantage of our Vampire Sixth Sense to take a look around through the windows for a bit. I don't see anything in there that interests me. You might have noticed that the music is probably different if you have the unofficial patch to this area. I took a listen to some of the music that the unofficial patch added, and I replaced a bunch of it with music from other games. I'm actually really glad this loaded into this area of the game. But we'll talk about that later. Sorry, everyone. We have a bit more sleuthing to do. Oh, I think there's an Xbox there. How about that? Astrolite gained, and only one person killed. I don't think I would play myself as a mass murderer. The only reason why I would kill all the thugs is if I got into a combat situation and was forced to do so. Now, I don't see any money in here, and we know that they have Mercurio's money. We know there's a dog outside, probably on the other side of that door, so we don't want to walk out there. That must be Dennis. He's the only one wearing a suit. He must be the leader of this gang. Always stick to the vents. Underworld has taught me that. Oh, but there's something in this vent. What the heck? Except for a box with $250. An envelope containing a bit of cash. I remember this was here, by the way. Yes. Yep, sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't metagame while we're in this area. Now, what are we doing about Dennis? What do you think? Kill him? I think we let the thugs know that they all came very close to dying, and we will eliminate Dennis. I'm not allowed to slit his throat, or I would do that. So we'll pretend we did that instead of draining him dry. He's got a lot of blood in him. He must have been really smart, but not smart enough to realize he made a terrible mistake when he didn't kill Mercurio. And we're done. Whatever else the thugs have, they can keep. I guess I wouldn't mind... Hold on. Let's check the bathroom really quick. We can't take those pills.
Yo, Dennis.
Oh. They are now aware that Dennis is dead. Good. And we don't need to stay here. We're done. All right, not bad. So, with that done, by the way, and since we got a bunch of money, $250, that might have been Mercurio's money, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna go with that was not his money, because that lets me tell Mercurio that we didn't find his money. In any case, with that money, we can now pay to have our fortune read or told. So let's go ahead and do that.
I don't know what I'm saying. Forget what I say.
Can you tell me my fortune? I'll pay you.
Fortune is not your destiny. All of us are unfortunate. Every time I sleep, the future plays out before me. I know the ending. It will end over and over until I cease to dream. I know your questions. For $100, I'll tell you what you don't want to hear. I need money to leave this place.
100? I'll give you 20. Here's my question.
Then ask again.
Who are my enemies?
Men, everywhere. Some with swords, some with smiles. But I pity them. You are a remarkable foe.
Who can I trust?
The man on the couch, the lone wolf. All others, tread carefully.
I believe she is talking about Mercurio. He is, I think, the man on the couch. And maybe there's multiple people who would qualify, but maybe all of them are people we can trust. What's going to happen to me in the next few nights?
The Crimson Sheep. He's not who he says she is, and is going to burn. Dinosaurs. He's furious. The man with the crest. The voice in the darkness. Boss. Chinese brothers. Follow the lights to the end of the tunnel. Where do you want to go?
That's amazing. So who has a job I can do?
Those with a lot to say usually have something on their mind. There are many unique individuals around the city. It's almost as if they're waiting for you to ask the right thing. E, for example.
This is such a clever way of doing this. We'll talk about it when we're done. Any advice at all? Something that's going to save my life?
Don't open it.
So, am I going to win after all is said and done?
Whether or not you win the game matters not. It's if you bought it.
True words. Thank you. Goodbye. Let's talk about that for a little bit. So she is giving an in-world how to describe it, reason why people have quests for you, and that you have to ask them the right questions to get those quests from them. The way it was worded is really well done as well. It's not as explicit, keep trying different conversation trees until you can get the quest from them. I think that's a really well done. Everything she said in regards to the Crimson Ship, he says he's not who she says he is, and is going to burn. That's wonderful. That is so accurate, and everything there is correct. Everything there is indeed something that will happen to us over the next few nights. Man. What other two statements do I want to talk about that she made in particular? Whether you win the game or not is irrelevant. It's whether you bought it. Refers to Vampire the Masquerade-Bloodlines, the video game. At least I think that's the case. And she's right. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. Did you download this game from someplace for free, or did you buy the game? Now that said, I would like to thank the modders for this game. They have for updating this game, for continuing to patch this game, and I believe this game had quite a few glitches and bugs in it when it was first released, which have all been fixed by the community by now. It's wonderful to have such an active community maintaining a game this old. Can you believe it's almost been 20 years? And while we're here, by the way, everyone, we haven't investigated this alleyway, so let's take a peek inside the Something Noir while we're here. Oh, whoa, whoa. Mouse is too sensitive today. Oh, wow, that was really easy to lockpick. And we can break these bars, maybe? We can break these bars. Alright, random destruction. well, we did it. Yeah, take that, Santa Monica. The place looks pretty run down to begin with. I guess that's not helping any. Beautiful urns here. Look at these vases. Some incredibly creepy music. And nothing else. A cash register with nothing in it. They must have different exhibits here on occasion. We could walk directly out the front door, but I think we would get in trouble if we do that. This place is definitely not open to the public at this moment. Alright, so a few more things, everyone, while we're talking. So, a heads up that I'm recording this part before the last part, part 4, went up on my channel. I said I wouldn't, but I'm doing it because I'm really in the mood to play Vampire the Masquerade-Bloodlines. All of you probably knew I was going to do it anyway, so, you know, it's okay. We all knew I was going to record the next episode. I will try to make sure I don't have, like, 30 of these videos backlogged before we play. like before I record again, but I might be 1 or 2 ahead of when the last one I uploaded, just as a heads up. Okay, and also, I'm going to try to do what I was doing in Mondon, and I will try to speak to the comments you guys are leaving me. This will ensure that I don't have like 15 videos recorded in advance, because I'll want to make sure I can respond to your guys' comments in a way that keeps them relevant, rather than I have like a month's worth of videos to upload and you guys are leaving comments and I can no longer act on them or talk about them. And so what I'm going to do is this. When I'm done with an episode, if I'm able to get back to our safe house, I'll spend some time talking to your guys' comments there. And this way, if you're not interested in that, you know, you can just, I'll announce that I'm all done. You guys can just go ahead, you know, go about your day. You know, you won't have to care. But if you want to listen to me read your comments and talk back about them, I'll do that at the end of the videos. Or I'll try to do that, and we'll try to do that starting with this video. And I'll talk about the comments that you guys left behind on video 3, and I might also just have another part that I append to the end of this where I talk about the ones at the end of video 4. And speaking of comments, by the way, the Knight Who Say Nay did give me permission to go ahead and blackmail Malcolm St. Martin. Oh. But now that I found an envelope with $250 in it, I don't need to do that to the gentleman. I really feel like we should, to maybe convince him to stop doing what he's doing. Like, if we found out, other people can find out, and he should just stop, delete all the mails, keep it professional, and move on. Maybe we will do it after all. But the first thing we're going to do is put another point into charisma. This will increase our persuasion to 4. Seduction and persuasion, if I recall correctly, are used in different situations. Persuasion, I think, has the most use in the game, and will even be useful in the late game. Seduction is as well, but seduction is mostly, if I recall correctly, there's a few times it can get you out of a sticky situation, but I think its main purpose is to allow you to feed on people. Otherwise, you'd have to hunt down loners in the street to feed on them. We're going to be raising both. I'm thinking we're going to raise, again, seduction to like 9 by the end of the game. I would like to do that if we could. And persuasion will probably go to 7. Maybe 8. I'm not sure just yet. In any case, maybe Mr. Not Creepy Vandal, employee of the month at the Santa Monica Blood Bank, has seen Lily. And maybe our persuasion can get him to talk about it.
Need a fix?
I need to get into the back room, Vandal.
Employees only. Them's the rules of the Queen Bitch herself.
Queen Bitch? It's okay. She gave me her okay. Go ahead. Call her.
She did, huh? Queen Bitch told me never to let anyone back there. I remember her repeating it over and over in that cold, pretentious voice of hers.
Just because you pass that check, because you have the option to get further in the conversation, doesn't guarantee that you are successful in completing whatever it would have, in gaining access to what that would have gained you. We are further in this conversation with Vandal than we could have been otherwise, but we still need to tell him the right thing. Go ahead. Call her.
Opened.
Don't worry, I won't make too much of a mess. And he's opened this door for us. Now, with our lockpicking, we already opened a different door here. So, there was no reason for us to really do that. But I wanted to show you guys what's possible. I think if we had answered that question differently... Can I reload a previous game? Oh, I can't do so. Well, I could, but I'm not gonna. But if we chose a different answer, I don't think he would have let us back here. Actually, maybe... You know what? I'll do it. Come on. Let's do it. So I'm going to reload our Gallery Noir. It's a bit immersion breaking, I know. I'm sorry, everyone, but we are doing a bunch of talking. I am doing a bunch of metagaming talking with you guys right now. So I'll show you guys what happens if you choose the wrong answer there. I'll still want a persuasion of 4. I would like it to be 6. At the very least, by the mid-portion of the game. And I'm babbling a bit. Alright, let's head on down here. Well... No, we will play for like only 30 minutes or so. So my plan is to get back here and we'll see if Lily is somewhere back here. Again, I believe she is in the morgue. Probably. And she's probably in torpor, would be my guess at this moment. If I'd been playing this game for the very first time. That would be what I was assuming was going on.
Need a fix?
I need to get into the back room.
Employees only. Them's the rules of the Queen Bitch herself.
It's okay. The Queen Bitch gave me her okay. Go ahead, call her.
She did, huh? Queen Bitch told me never to let anyone back there. I remember her repeating it over and over in that cold, pretentious voice of hers.
You don't want to disappoint her, do you?
Now serving number 75? Number 75.
Fine. Goodbye.
Oh no, wouldn't like that, Queen Bitch. Queen Bitch would say, No. Queen Bitch would say no to that. Yes.
As you can see, just because you're able to access a different conversation topics doesn't mean you'll be able to pass the check, as it were. Be smart. In this case, it sounded like Vandal didn't really want to talk with her, that he's afraid of Queen Bitch. And so threatening him with, go ahead, call her, was enough that he was going to let us back here. But, well, we had lockpicking free. Alright, so last time we were here, we couldn't access the freezers. Oh, this is the Ambrosia password. Okay. I knew one of these computers had Ambrosia, but I didn't know which one it was. And by one of these computers, I mean one of them in Santa Monica. How about that? So this is a special password to me because there was another video game I played a long time ago. It was a fighting game called Samurai Showdown. And my favorite character in that game was a guy named Galford. And he encounters the main antagonist in the game after you beat the third combatant. And it refers to itself not as Ambrosia, but as Akusa? I can't remember what his name is now. But Galford gets confused and calls it Ambrosia. And it laughs at him for that statement. Alright, in any case, here's the freezer controls. And we can see freezer 1 and 2 are negative 10 and negative 12 degrees Celsius. But freezer 3 is negative 2 degrees Celsius. I think that's quite a bit warmer. Oh man. So I'm American, everyone, and we use freedom units over here. So, I don't know what the difference is between Celsius and Fahrenheit. Well, Celsius I don't think is a metric way to measure temperature, Tim. But I think 32 Fahrenheit is equal to 0 Celsius? I'm pretty sure. So this strikes me, if you're a fellow American like me, this is probably something like, maybe like 26 degrees would be my guess. So pretty chilly. Passcode. 1969. But this didn't unlock anything for us. It just gave us a passcode to do so. Interesting. Well, we haven't seen a keypad down here somewhere, so we must have missed it last time. Well, while we're here, let's check out that morgue. So we know there's nothing in any of the freezers we can access. Several of them are locked. but some of them are open and completely empty. Let's see if there's any information about Lily. Ha! Calvel. Well done. I don't see any Lily here, but I do see a Jane Doe. Interesting. Jane Doe is the title given to any girl who is unidentified, I think, is how they refer to him. It's similar to John Doe. Logger 2B, 101704. Subject apparently died of indeterminate causes. Note, subject's body contained only 1 pint of blood. Foul play suspected. I don't have her diary with me. Maybe we should go back and get that really quick. Fouls D? Locker 5B, 101804. Severely beaten to death. Something about the way this one looked made me want to lock it in the freezer. A Bobo G. Locker 1A, 101804. Wound suggests subject was beaten to death with a baseball bat. Sounds like the thugs on the beach killed 2 other people. Parody? Maybe we should have killed all of them. Locker 4A, 101704. Subject apparently choked to death on ham and or cheese. Oh, God, that sucks. What an awful way to die. Man. Well, I mean, I get it's over in like a minute or 2, right? So, like, that's... Oh, God, but it's horrible. Oh, man. Alright, we're gonna go check Lily's journal really quick. Vandal. I see you stared at me very creepily. They did a good job on the eerie faces. Something I really like, by the way, is the girls in this game when they smirk. First off, it looks really smug, which is pretty cute. But next, there's a game I played a long time ago. I think I mentioned it once already, called Total Distortion. And in that game, spoilers in case you guys somehow managed to find and play this game, you eventually manage to worm your way to this very special concert venue. And the ticket taker in the booth is this pink-haired girl. And you can flirt with her. And some of her responses causes her to smirk. And like she moves her head back and forth with this little smirk. And it reminds me of her. In that game, she is a vampire. And she mentions if you have a place and you invite her over, she'll be glad to have lunch at your place. And you can totally do so. Invite her over to have a bite to eat. And she'll put a sign up on the booth that says out for lunch. And when you go back to your home, you are killed. She becomes, her face changes and is much more demonic at that point in the game. As long as I'm here, I might as well take all this stuff too. What was the last date in her diary? Oh, okay. 50804. I haven't been able to feed since that night with E. I'm afraid of what will happen. Okay, so that was not her. That was not her in the morgue. So she's not that Jane Doe. All right, so there's no tracking of her in the morgue. There's a locked door we can't get in, and we learned about a passcode, but we haven't found the pass key or key card. So let's go back down there and double check. By the way, everyone, I hope you guys can still hear my voice. I think you can. I've been wrestling with the recording levels again. It's been okay. My voice sounds pretty good, but I've detected it being a little too... It's a little louder than I like it being when I went and listened to my previous 2 videos for this game. And so I've lowered the volume just a tad from my microphone, the recording levels. So hopefully it's coming out a bit better this time.
Mr. Buckman, dial the operator. Dr. Buckman, dial the operator.
You know, Vandal has to be wondering what's going on, because he sees us walk right past him, and then he sees that he hears a door open and shut. He's got to know we're back here. He has to know. Alright, so it was Freezer 3. So that's either this one we're passing right here, or the one all the way down the hall. Let's check this one first. And I don't see a key card anywhere here. So it's not this one. That sound, man, I think I've heard that sound a whole lot in Deus Ex. So it must be this one. Where's that key card? Ah! Santa Monica Blood Bank. There's a locked door here. Should we give Vandal one more time to come clean with us? Or do you think I think we just do this. Vandal's not interested in really talking with us. Lily.
Hunger. I need it. A drop of it on my tongue, sliding down my throat. The hot flash in my brain lighting up my body. I can smell it everywhere. Blood.
What happened to you?
Let me go. It's painful, like I'm going to die. It's calling. Never felt like this before. Let me go. I can smell it. I have to have it.
The beast is claiming her. We know this is Lily. Hold still. I'll let you... Well... Do we just free her like this? She's lucky to kill whoever she meets. That will probably be Vandal. I think we let her go.
Huh? Oh. Huh?
You don't look well at all.
Oh, sweet mother of God!
The heat. It's never been so satisfying. All of it. I drank until I heard his heart stop and I was sucking on a dry, dead artery. It was euphoric. But I've killed him. I've never killed anyone before. What happened? What came over me?
Right. She doesn't know a whole lot about being a vampire. She's never encountered frenzy before, which is probably what happened to her. Which, I mean, I know of because I played this game before and I've had characters frenzy, but she doesn't, and I've also played, you know, Santa, but whatever. She doesn't know this. The beast took over. It happens.
Beast? What is that? Why couldn't I stop myself? Why did it feel so right?
Shh, calm down. It's all right.
I tried to steal some blood. I heard they sold it. I was hungry, and I can't hunt in town. They caught me, and I was trapped. Thought I'd never escape, but I killed a man. I have to get out of here.
Who are you?
My name is Lily.
I heard about you from E.
E? You know E? How do you know E?
He asked me if I knew anything about Thin Bloods, which is how I found you.
I tried to tell E about his condition, but he was so furious at me for what I'd made him into, he wouldn't listen. A Thin Blood, from what I've been told, is a vampire whose blood is weaker than most.
Go on.
Rolf, my sire, told me some vampires consider Thin Bloods a bad omen and want them destroyed. Rolf wasn't a Thin Blood, and apparently I am. I don't know why. Rolf abandoned me. His group wouldn't take me in. They said I was a liability. He left me with so many questions, and I did the same thing to E, but I didn't want to leave E. He forced me out of his life. I should go. I have to get out of here. Maybe out of the city. Soon.
You should go see E on the beach. He said he forgives you. He wants to see you.
E doesn't hate me anymore?
No, quite the opposite. You should talk to him.
I'll go see him. Thank you.
You're welcome, Lily. Goodbye.
Oh, about tonight, what I did? Please, don't tell E. It's not my fault. I couldn't control it. I've never done anything like this before. I'm no killer.
I promise, Lily, it's not your fault. You couldn't help it. Goodbye.
Why'd you have to go and let that bitch out? There's one less Phil in the world now. Why'd you have to let her go and eat him, huh? Now I'll never get to do in that bastard myself. Well, you know what? No blood for you. No more!
Alright, what's happening here is that Vandal doesn't like that what just occurred, and he will not sell blood to us anymore unless we can convince him right here to still do so. Well, we have some persuasion. Let's see if it's lucky, if we can get lucky enough to get out of this with it. You're lucky. If I hadn't freed her, her friends were going to shoot up the place.
That's interesting. A missed opportunity. Guns make people cocky. They never appreciate what a skilled hand married to a knife can do. All you have to do is get close enough to cut off the trigger finger. Or their face. You like to talk, don't you? I want to hear a story. Tell me, what's the best way you violenced up someone? I want to hear every grisly detail. If I like your story, I'll sell you some blood.
I'm no killer, although we did just kill 2 people.
Blood comes from out of the living, from all kinds in a red torrent. The crimson seep at the speed of a heartbeat. For each drop, a teeny bit of life shed. You don't care how it's got, as long as it is. You'll be begging for it, and not getting any.
Whatever. Alright, that's it. So Vandal will no longer sell blood to us. We cannot buy any from him. Maybe if we had a higher presence, we could convince him to do so by forcing him to do so. And maybe we can still do that if we talk with him later with a higher presence, but we cannot do so now. I think the last time I did this with my Malkavian, I think I was able to use dementia to convince him to still sell me blood. Now, we can still get blood from other places. And I don't know if we will ever be able to buy any from him, though, from now on. So we'll have to be careful with the amount of blood packs that we find and how much of it that we decide to use. Well, I think we'll end this episode then, everyone, by going back out to the beach and seeing if Lily and E have forgiven each other. And then, if they have, maybe we can give Lily back all her things. If not, we'll leave them in Rolf's car.
I don't think so, buddy.
And then we'll end it there. Although I will go back to our apartment and I'll read some comments I got from you guys. As I said I was going to do. What the heck, bum? As I said I was going to do earlier. I guess, do we want to run down here? Well, I guess let's talk a little bit about what just happened. And things of this sort. So, I think the way this works is that if you, I think we needed a persuasion of 5 to possibly convince Vandal to sell us the blood anyway. We can tell him a story, but you only, I think, get to do that if your humanity is lower than what ours is. We have perfect humanity. So we're not a killer according to our humanity, although we will totally be killing all sorts of people through this in this playlist, everyone. Have no fear. That's going to be happening, absolutely. In any case, right, but our humanity is not low enough, so we haven't brutalized anyone. So as such, we can't talk our way out of it. And so, well, that's it. It looks like they were probably using her, like keeping her there, and maybe occasionally feeding her blood, and or like giving her someone to feed on, and then draining her later, so they could have vampire blood, would be my guess as to what's happening. Maybe that's where the blue blood pack came from, or something of that sort. I'm not sure. But otherwise, yeah, she was kept prisoner there. Just kept there, and who knows what experiments or tortures they were doing to her. Oh, and there is Lily. Okay, well, let's talk with E first, and I'm not going... So, okay, a few other things. You'll note that I didn't try to get her to give me any money or anything. She's been imprisoned. We have everything she owns on us that she doesn't have on herself. Her purse, for example. Her journal and a picture of her. We're not going to get anything from her. And if we try to get something from her originally, it would be my belief that she would promise anything for a taste of blood. Can I turn you off, by the way? I cannot, okay. So let's talk with E, we'll talk with Lily, and then we'll get out of here.
You brought my Lily back. She told me all about what happened. I don't know why you helped us, but your blood's worth bottling. I'll never let her go again. Thank you.
You're welcome, E. Keep her safe.
We're gonna be getting out of LA soon. Too dangerous here. Rosa told us something big's about to happen, and I don't want to be here when the jack comes out of the box. Take that for what you will.
It's a good way Rosa phrased it. Well, no, my lucky. If the shit house goes up in flames, it'll probably be my fault. See ya, E. Talk with Lily one last time, and then we're out of here. Hey, Lily.
Hi.
How'd it go with E?
This life's been hard on him, both of us, but he forgives me. We're leaving soon. I have some family with a place out in the middle of nowhere in Oregon. It should be okay for us to stay out there, as long as we're together.
You probably want your stuff back then. Here, take it.
Thank you.
Keep your love alive. Goodbye. Aww. I remember actually being able to give them their stuff back. That's pretty cool. So I think I mentioned it before, but the game, you do have a limited inventory. You can't carry every single thing you pick up. When you hit that limit, I'm pretty sure it's like 2 rows of stuff. But I'm describing incorrectly, but just know there is an upwards limited amount of garbage you can carry. And so you either need to leave it lying around in different places or get rid of it, like just trash it. And so giving that stuff back to Lily, I like that idea. Most people probably are still carrying around everything that they've ever picked up at this point in the game. Now, you know me, I'm obsessed with a clean inventory. Darn it, I messed it up. Inventory management. I don't like having inventory filled with garbage. If you watch me play Underworld, you've seen me constantly clear out everything. From back in my Quest for Glory days, I leave things in chests I don't intend to carry with me because I don't need them at the moment. And any game that has inventory, I try to leave things in places where I don't carry everything with me. I don't do that in real life. I'm not gonna do it in a video game, you know, because video games are just like real life. 100%, exactly like it. But speaking of leaving things in different places. Oh, no. That is going into this. No, it's not. Okay, fine. We'll leave this off at the hospital. That seems like a good place to leave it. We'll leave it on Malcolm St. Martin's desk when we go back in there and blackmail him, which I think I'm going to do to make myself feel a little happier that we lost access to blood. I do think there are a few other merchants that sell it. I want to say... No, I don't think Fat Larry sells it. How do I remember his name? Wow, because this game really left a good impression on me. I really like this game. Alright, well, I think we're done, everyone. Again, as I said, so I'm just going to wander up to my apartment. I'll read some comments from you guys, and I'll talk about them. And then, well, we'll call the session at that point. And I'll probably also append at the end of this another bit where I read your comments from the end of episode 4. This way I get all of them here in episode 5. Hope you guys have liked the game so far. This is a real joy to play this game again. I don't remember, like, as I'm playing through it, I'm remembering a lot more about it. It's hard to forget some of the amazing things that this game has done and the way they're presented. It's hard not to remember them. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who has never played this game before and is watching this playlist because, well, I guess they're not going to play the game. But I can highly recommend this game. It is fantastic. And some bits of it are very horror-like. There's 3 bits in particular that I really like. It's all the different types of horror is what I describe it as. And they do them all perfectly. I don't want to say the names of the places, but one is extremely eerie the entire time that you're there. Another one is filled with jump scares, and really, it's wonderful. And the last one is something is after you, you hear it all around you, and you have to keep running or it's going to kill you. And they did all of these so perfectly. It's incredible. It really is. Alright, well, let's go ahead and quickly cut this, and then I'll start reading your comments. Alright, everyone. Let's go ahead and begin reading your comments. Alright, so this is going to be a bit of a longer one of these, I think. This first one. Because not only am I going to read the comments I got on video number 3 here, but I'm going to read the comments I got from you guys on video 4, which I just hit publish on about 3 minutes ago or so. So let's get started, shall we? So the Knight That Say Nay has said, I'd say blackmail him once. Justice has a price. Even police officers need a paycheck. I believe that our Vigilante lottery needs a little incentive. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, so I know it's something you can do to that doctor, and I'm thinking we're going to do it because I view Lotaeri as really wanting to have had a normal life, especially now that it's been ripped from him. He hasn't had much time to really dwell on it, but he's lost the ability to have a family now, at least a normal family. I don't know if vampires have families. I don't think we're going to see anything like that during our time as a vampire. We saw that Lily and E, however, seem to be hitting off really well, and maybe there's a future for them. So maybe there still is a future for Lotaeri. And E and Lily seemed to appreciate each other, and Lotaeri made sure that they could get back together again, and didn't ask anything from them. Indeed, he even was able to forgive Lily for, I guess, killing that one doctor or nurse? Someone named Phil, according to Vandal. In any case, I think that Lotaeri will go back and talk with the doctor. If I get a conversation option which lets us tell him, hey, we know what you're doing with that nurse, stop it, or we will let your wife know, and not ask him for anything, we'll do that. But if we're forced to ask for a monetary amount, we'll do that as well as a form of penance that he'll have to pay. And hopefully he will clean up his act after that. Ben Shaimai has said, love that main menu music. Took me forever to realize that it's basically just the song Angel by Massive Attack, though. Also a great song. Yeah, I never heard of Massive Attack, and I never heard the song Angel from them, obviously, either. So I went and looked it up and listened to it to see how it compared, and yeah, it sounds pretty similar, doesn't it? I think that song came out when I looked up more information in 1998, So this game was definitely produced after that song was released. How about that? That was really a good catch, Ben. Bruno says, have I told you already how much I love that you're playing this? Aw, thank you, Bruno. Every time I see a notification, I do a backflip. Okay, well, maybe not. While I like Moralist Tim, let's see it from this point. Besides being a Toreador, wasn't Lotaeri something of a Casanova before being embraced? I like to think that... So maybe he did kind of get around a little bit, but I never really... When it comes to cheating on people, that's not something, like, I do. It's not something I generally like the idea of. So I hadn't thought if Lotaeri would go down that sort of path or not. I guess if I was writing a background and that was a question that popped up, I would have said no to it. But I didn't have a chance to do so. So I guess you could view it that way as well, though. Yeah, sure. Yeah, right, Bruno. Like, we could say, well, maybe Lotaeri's history was such that he wouldn't care about this sort of thing. You know, people are emotional. Maybe they have an affair or fling at the spur of the moment and then try to go back to living their normal life afterwards. I just don't see that as being something... I don't know. Lotaeri's not me, right? He can fight with a knife. He's killed 2 people. I've killed exactly no people in my life that I'm aware of. So, yeah. But, well, if I have a say in Lotaeri's past, I would say that... No, I would like him to have been faithful to the girls he was dating. Maybe this is one of the reasons why our sire actually took such a liking to us as well, because we seemed like a decent person. And maybe something very similar happened to us that happened to E, right? Only we thankfully also weren't a thin blood, and our sire didn't just abandon us. Maybe she was going to talk to us a little bit about what occurred, have a similar talk as Lily did to E, but... things played out quite differently, didn't they? Would he be upset about someone having an affair? So I'm going to say yes in this instance. But yeah, I can totally see someone playing a different type of vampire altogether different. But maybe then if you weren't upset about having an affair, maybe our moral compass would be a little different, and we still wouldn't have a problem blackmailing the doctor for other reasons instead. Bruno then says, man, watching this LP really makes me want to eat some freaking chicken. That's some good beef and chicken. It's not at all like day-old fish. I think there's several other commercials of that sort. We'll listen to the radio and watch some more TV later. I think we need to progress the plot a little bit more to have those things change. I think it's more or less still going to be the same when I put on the TV and the radio. Now, by the way, the TV will change, and I think the radio might as well, and talk about things that have occurred that you had some say in. So we might see like what transpires in different areas of the city as we get involved with some more of the political opportunities which arise here. Bruno then says, oh, I did a little research on the music. You were right. You would get copyright strikes, but I read some conflicting info. Some say the videos would just get demonetized as opposed to your channel taken down. You've been doing this far more than me, though. I'd stick to your instincts. So, I've uploaded videos on this game to my channel in the past 3 entire times. In that, I had 3 whole playlists of me going through the entirety of this game on my channel in the past. I've done it 3 times, 3 entire playthroughs. And twice was with a Volcavian, once was with the Nosferatu. I didn't like how any of them came out in the end when I went back through some of my older videos about 5 months ago or so. So I deleted them. But in any case, every time I uploaded videos for this game, and whenever I walked into the bars and that music played, those videos had a copyright claim on them, is what it was called. I'll have to show you guys sometime what it's like for us YouTubers in the background, so you can see the process of creating a video, what I talk about when I mean like compressing a video down, and what it looks like for my copyright notifications. But yes, my videos did not, when I uploaded these, there were no strikes placed against my channel, so I wasn't going to lose my channel for it. But the copyright claims meant that I couldn't monetize them. I don't care. I don't put commercials on any of my videos, and hopefully you guys have never seen any commercials because I don't put them there. But commercials would be placed on those videos as well, and the money given to the claimant. I don't generally have a problem with that. If you're using music in particular, you should be aware that odds are people are going to claim copyright on them. I could go into this for some time. There are some instances where I think it's being abused. In fact, it's probably being abused more often than it's not, honestly. And it's very frustrating as someone who sometimes will upload something to YouTube. Remember I uploaded something recently about the Commodore 64 with the Warrior Vastry the Wild, and I played music that I had recorded from outside my apartment, like birds chirping and stuff like that, and played it for that video, and it got copyright claimed, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. But in any case, I'm going on a tangent. But I hate commercials on my stuff. And I hate commercials in general. I don't want them on any of my videos. And it's aggravating to know that they're there. Furthermore, nothing stops the copyright holder from changing his mind later and saying, yeah, you know what? Strike the channel instead. Strike everyone who has these songs uploaded to YouTube. Nothing stops them from doing that. They could totally do that. The fact that it's a claim, not a strike, just means that the copyright holder is kind enough to say, well, that's my copyright. That's my stuff. I'll let him use it, though. But I want the money that he would have generated from that for using that. Now, it turns out, we're not using that song. It's background music. In fact, odds are you won't even be able to hear it because most of the time I'll be talking with you guys, so there'll be vampires talking in the bars. Still, I know it's there, and I don't want it. So I'm going to be doing some things to get rid of it. But yes, thank you, Bruno, very much for that information. Yep. I probably wasn't very clear when I was talking about copyright strikes on my channel, so hopefully that cleans up some things. My channel has never been struck. These videos would probably just be copyright claimed. My channel would probably still exist without any problems, but I don't want to take that chance. I'd rather, if I know it's going to be a copyright thing, I'd rather just avoid it altogether. All right, then we have Tillman Enke. And Tillman, you'll have to tell me if I'm getting your last name correct, because I don't know. Is it Enke? Enke? Enek? All right. Well, anyway, let's get going. Tillman has a few comments for me, so this will take a bit. But Tillman, thank you very much. I love getting comments of all sorts, by the way. Long comments, short comments, ones that make fun of my inability to pronounce certain words, ones that point out the hypocrisy with the character I'm playing, with earlier statements I've made, and the things that talk about the game in general. I love all this stuff. Thank you, guys. So Tillman has said, Vampire Blood is probably not physically addictive for a mortal from anything I've read, but it would be hard not to be psychologically addicted to their effects, as they are only beneficial from the addict's perspective. There is a limited self-determination that comes with it, but that does not manifest in a intuitively apparent manner. Yeah, so this was in regards to, like, when I gave blood to Heather and what Knox had said earlier. It looks like there is no physical, as Tillman had mentioned, and I think I mentioned this as well, there's no physical addiction to the drug. So, in other words, you can just stop, and your body's fine. I've been on all sorts of drugs in my life. I've had numerous problems with me, currently ongoing as well, that I'll have forever. And almost all of these drugs, I have had horrific side effects to. And so I generally have to get off of these drugs once they start, which can be anywhere from a single pill in the case of amitriptyline, or it can take years, in the case of what I'm taking at the moment. I can never pronounce this drug, Metropolo, I think is what it's called. In any case, you have to wind yourself off of them. Steroids, for example, is another drug that you can't just stop taking it. If you just stop taking a drug, some of them, you can do horrific damage to your body. You can go into shock sometimes and die, actually, as well. And so, always, I'm not a doctor. You should always talk with your doctor about drugs. But please, if you're going to take any drugs, any new drugs, be aware of all the side effects that could exist for these. Talk with your doctor about them. If you notice any side effects coming up, talk with your doctor. See what options you have and possibly stop taking them if the doctor says that you should stop taking them and get weaned off of them. So, in any case, right, so the vampire blood doesn't seem to have any physical attributes, so you can just stop taking it whenever, and your body won't crave it. You won't need to take it. You won't have to worry about dying from not taking the vampire blood just suddenly. I mean, well, I guess you do, right? Because vampire blood makes you live forever. So I guess technically not taking vampire blood means that you are at a higher risk of dying because you will start living like a normal person again at that point. But yeah, I can see why some people might be psychologically addicted to the vampire blood. If it makes you feel better, like better than your best day living and stuff like that, as Knox was saying and so on. I'm sorry, Jack, as Jack was saying, and so on. So I can understand why people would want it if it just makes you feel great and improves your physicality and everything else of the sort as well. Maybe it makes you think faster and so on. You don't age as often, so there's that aspect to it. If you're afraid of aging or you don't want to age as quickly or what have you. So yeah, I can see that people would want to stay on it if they start it. But I was mostly worried about there being some physical addiction to it when I gave some to Heather, whose name we still didn't know because I didn't look at I didn't look at the computer in the hospital. We'll do that first thing next episode. All right, then Tillman says, losing the benefits of being a ghoul may be reminiscent of having a withdrawal experience. So I feel like I would probably have my ghoul character react differently to losing access to vampire blood, depending upon how I conceive them. So with me, it's very interesting. I've been given lots of different drugs. Some of them have been opiates. I can't tolerate them in retrospect. The only one I seem to be... I guess you're going to learn a lot about me and drugs today. So the only one I can tolerate that doesn't have any side effects to me, and I've only taken it a very tiny little bit of it, was morphine. That's the only drug, the only painkiller that works. I think... No, that's a necrotic, Tim, I think, isn't it? I think that's a necrotic. I called it an opiate. I don't know at the moment. It's one or the other, and I don't know which one it is off the top of my head anymore. It's been years since I was last given it. Doctors don't want it. It's really hard to ask a doctor for morphine. You don't get generally to ask a doctor for what painkiller you want in order to deal with side effects to another medication that they've just given you. But in any case, when I stop my drugs, I don't have any withdrawal symptoms other than physical ones in nature. When I got off Ambien, I felt awful for 3 days. And I'd only been taking that drug for a week. I had really bad chest pain while on that drug. So my doctors stopped me on that. But, it was awful. It was awful. But other than that, like, I don't have any psychological desire to take drugs or stay on them. But I've not done any recreational drugs in my life. And as I talked about, I think in this episode or the one before it, the only smoking I ever did was about 3 years ago, and it was only like 3 puffs on a tobacco pipe that I had, and I had tobacco in it, and it tasted wonderful. And then a day later, I had all my strokes. So that was the last time I ever had that. I'm not smoking anything ever again. But so I guess when it comes to withdrawal experience, when it comes to a psychological effect, like your desire to have it because you want to feel good, I have nothing to compare that with. So, for me, stopping drugs has just been a matter of physical addiction and withdrawal symptoms. But yeah, but I can see that too. Yeah, maybe your character is a little weaker-willed. Our character's wits, well, that's not will. I guess there really isn't a will stat here. Not like an underworld. Your ability to resist temptation and what have you, and the desire to like go cold turkey on smoking, for example, and just stop altogether, despite your cravings for it. I can see people making their vampires a little differently. That was a really long-winded answer to that paragraph, Tillman. I'm sorry. Generally, the clans that are still around and did not have their development drastically altered are associated with the 3rd generation of vampires. Cain and his child are assumed to have had all generic vampire disciplines. With the 3rd generation, the weakening of the blood separated vampire population to clans with distinct disciplines. So, I guess at this point I should mention that I know, while I did LARP a few times and I read the World of Darkness books, it's been years since I did that. Like 1998, 1999 or so would have been when I was doing this, because I was in college at the time. So that was an age ago to me now. Over 20 years. Holy crap, I can't believe it. But there it is. I don't remember anything about it other than a vague recollection that there are these generations. Each generation the blood gets thinner and the blood gets a little weaker in them from what I recall. It sounds like, though, Tillman, what you're saying is that the original, there's a certain name for them. It begins with an A, but I can't. It's not called ancient. There's some antediluvian. The antediluvians were very powerful I think antediluvian is everything that's older than you. I think it's not necessarily third generation. I think, but in any case, it sounds like what you're saying is that he had access to all the powers, or they manifested in some way that I guess it's like all the basic powers that the vampires possessed. But then vampire clans lost those and developed their own traits instead. I think ours is majesty, right? Is that what ours is as a Toreador? We get access to majesty and no one else does? Right? I think every single clan has access to a single discipline that no one else has access to. I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't remember. Alright, let's move on. It was also those of the third generation that are said to have molded what human prospects would likely be considered for embrace by embracing only those that favored their outlook. Oh, okay, gotcha. So this relates to the prince a little bit. So for example, permission is given to those people who would otherwise continue to agree with the Camarilla, to have a Camarilla member embrace another person to bring them into the fold, right? It's kind of like, someone that shares your politics, so you get them promoted type of thing. The whole thin blood thing has always struck me as strange because it looks like the weakening of the blood has only recently become a concern when, i.g. the Setites, have had thin bloods for thousands of years because they tended to embrace more freely than the Camarilla vampires. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that was the case. So, yeah, it struck me as strange as well. I guess maybe they wanted you to be able to roleplay a thin blood at some point. I'm not sure why they did it myself, and I don't remember enough about the World of Darkness lore to say for sure one way or another. A thin blood is 14th generation or lesser, and in Vampire Revised Edition, which this game probably uses, are rather ill-defined. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yep, that seems to be the case. I do like that they try to give some lore to them here. So, and I like Lily's explanation of what a thin blood means. It doesn't seem like they have many powers either from our brief interaction with them, but it does, in retrospect now, seem like they have all the penalties that vampires have. That sucks. I guess they won't age, though, which I guess could be good, depending upon your outlook. I'm looking... Well, let's not go there. All right. Then we have... so I responded back to Tillman with some comments. I'm not going to read those. And then Tillman responded back to my comments on his comments. He says... Oh, right. Okay, so I mentioned... I guess I'll talk about it briefly. I mentioned that we have a blood pool of 15. And I do remember that there was some discussion about this on some forums a long time ago for this game. Which would mean that we would be the 8th generation. Which is pretty old... To be honest. So this would mean that our sire was a powerful vampire and decided to go against the Camarilla teachers and embrace us. Like, she would have to be 7th or 8th as well. I think we would be 9th if she embraced us. So she would have to be 7th gen. So, right, someone says, you do have a blood pool of 15, which would mean 8th gen if this were an accurate port of the pen and paper game. I just feel there has been enough liberties taken in the adaptation of mechanics from tabletop into PC that this particular point is hardly definitive. Right. And so I mentioned it only because, like, I don't know what gen we are. And if we were to stop and talk about our characters' stats and our blood pool and the disciplines we have and how rapidly we improve them, which is not something that generally occurs in the pen and paper game, then there's some incredible otherworldly manipulation going on here, or we are an extremely potent, powerful vampire who has some unique blood given to him to rapidly increase his stats the way we are. Like, we haven't even, like, realistically, we've been in Santa Monica for maybe an hour, right? And we've improved our charisma 1, our strength and dexterity have been upped by 1, and we've read books to give us these points here as well. And we also increased our looks, right? Like, through experience points. And that's That's super powerful in an hour to get that much blood points. You don't get that many blood points that soon. But there's also a ton of stuff that was in the pen and paper that isn't here, right? Like, we don't have any retainers. And we don't have any backgrounds. We don't have points in, like, journalism to influence newspapers or the medical industry to get us access to blood when we want it or stuff like that. So, I remember my Giovanni had some contracts with various morgues and funeral homes to get access occasionally to cadavers for his own experiments. But that was a long time ago. In any case, yes. So what Tillman's saying here is that while we do have a blood pool of 15, we can't really say that gives us, like, we're 7th or 8th gen based on that. And yeah, I would agree, Tillman. Yeah, the only reason I mentioned that is because I thought it was an interesting take on the situation and what type of vampire, like, we are. I think this was done for gameplay reasons, and we'll get into that with the next bit of your comment. Powers last for seconds rather than for minutes or hours, so a larger blood pool just makes them more usable. If you know Trokia ever told us how accurately they're reporting the mechanics, let me know. Smiley face. Yeah, I have no clue. I think they tried to balance the game without straying further from the tabletop mechanics than they needed, but we're not trying to change things so they worked in a video game. Agreed, 100%. So, the thing about games, of all types, is that you want to make them fun, and you also want to balance them, right? I guess you don't have to balance them. But I prefer a game that's pretty well balanced, where I can make a different character and take him a completely different direction, and it feels like he's just as strong as the other character, who might have had completely different disciplines, like an Underrail. I love how I'm playing all these different builds, and yet they all feel great. Combat's still tricky to get through. Nothing feels that there are some builds which are much more powerful than others, but generally, they all kind of feel well balanced in the end. And so, yeah, so I understand why they made these changes. You know, I understand, like, you want to see these numbers go up when you play a video game that has stats involved in them, like in Star Wars Old Republic, right? You get force points, and you level yourself up after killing a few hounds out there on the Dantooine Plains, and you want to put those points into things to have these numbers increase. So you really want numbers going up or down, depending upon the system that you are using, right? And on that same note, you're not going to play a game... If this game was like the tabletop, you don't want someone to play the game for like 3 years to get like six blood points. Come on, no. I mean, there might be some people that decide they really like that idea, but most people aren't gonna do that. And so you'd have to sit down and come up with a story that can adequately describe your character in a way that you get quite. The story has to be powerful and difficult enough that we would create like an 8th gen vampire and have quite a few more points here to level up all our stats, and then we wouldn't earn any more experience through the game. Or you do what they did, and you have this experience points you earn, get to increase your stats to help you make other checks. You can use better guns, make more other persuasion checks, and so on. And I think they did it because they wanted the game to be fun, and they wanted that sense of accomplishment. When you earn experience points, you get to improve your character, which all of us as gamers really like doing. And so, yeah, I totally understand why they did all of this. And by mentioning about 8th gen in the comment, Tillman, was only because I thought it was an interesting discussion because of our blood pool and the limits of a vampire's blood pool based on their generation. But yeah, I think that, yeah, I do agree that all this was done for balance and for playability. And I don't fault them for it. I think they did a great job on this game. I probably more than most, I'm willing to forgive a game or a movie some deviation from the source material, the original source material, in their attempt to make it more fun for the players to enjoy the world that they're in or the characters that they're creating. Tillman, then I'm going to skip a lot of your other comments because there were some spoilers there, and I don't want to say any spoilers in case people are listening to this and they don't know how this game plays out, so I'll skip a bunch of your other comments there. And then you also responded back and said to my comment about that comment, and you said, "Thank you for not disregarding a desperate rant aiming at the betterment of a set of ideas clad in rules." No problem, sir. Why would I do that? Come on now. I like reading comments for everyone. YouTube is not usually a place where any of my thoughts find recognition. Oh. Well, you know, I guess I'm luckier than most because I have a fantastic group of commenters who like to leave comments on my videos. Thank you all. Thank you all for being so kind and patient with me as I play through these games. I find the YouTube comments to be wonderful. I've never had any issue with them on any of my videos. I guess I've gotten one or two really harsh criticisms, one troll, but whatever, you know, you get them. You just ignore them or you respond back in kind. But I will always try to respond back to the comments I get. And so, thank you, Tillman, for leaving these. And I love talking about the games I'm playing with you guys as well. Don't ever think I don't. And I like this format as well, talking back to you guys in person, because, well, it gives me a chance to actually talk to you. I think this is a more personal way, personable? I think that's the word. To talk with you guys in this format, as it were. Thank you very much for the effort and honest attempt. You're a beautiful person. Thank you for being full stop. Thank you, Tillman, for being you as well. Thank you, guys. Jason Hack, his last name I might be getting wrong. You'll have to tell me, Jason, if that's the case. Has said, if I was a vampire, I would blackmail everyone and steal meds from the hospitals all the time. Well, if I was a vampire, I'd be dead because I have trouble sleeping through daylight, and so I would wake up and just die. That would be the end of me. I'm very absent-minded. I'd walk out in the middle of the daylight to go out and get some milk. Or something like that. I'd have a whole different outlook on life if I was one of these vampires. Because life is very different as a vampire, right? You don't need to eat. You don't need to drink. With food removed, you don't need a job. Right? You just need you do need to eat or drink, but you're looking for a different type of meal. It'd be a very interesting world if that were the case. But I don't think I'd blackmail everyone and steal meds from the hospital all the time, because you'd still get arrested, you can still be killed and stuff like that, so I'd still behave. I guess that's in my nature. Nostradamus says, well, you're a Toreador. You might have a strong passion for true love, and it disgusts you when others cheat on their significant others and deserve punishments. So I say blackmail him once and tell his wife. So, I'm going to say Lotaeri would probably agree with the true love, especially now that seems like that's been taken away, although seeing it Lily and E might convince Lotaeri that there's a chance to still find someone that he can be attracted to and possibly have a meaningful life with. But I think we do blackmail him after all, and we'll do that at the beginning of the next episode, which I'm gonna record right after I'm done with these comments. I'm gonna do it now rather than wait, for the comments on the current video I just uploaded, because I'm really in the mood to play the game again. And then Nostradamus also says, have you ever played Redemption, by the way? I prefer it over Bloodlines, in my honest opinion, but its combat is janky. But its combat is janky as hell, but its story is fantastic. So yeah, I have played Vampire Redemption. I didn't get very far in it. I didn't see the plot twist. I think I just reached like Germany or someplace like that. It was snowing outside. I had just gotten like another vampire who seemed like he was a Viking or something. To join me, a really gruff-looking individual. I had 4 people. There was the main character, the dark girl, this guy, and there's another gentleman who I was adventuring with who I can't remember what his name was at the moment. I went through the Tremere Chantry. I think that was the last part I went through in the game, if I recall correctly. Yeah, but I liked the game a lot. I thought it was a good game. I just never played it past that part, because other games popped up and distracted me from it. But yeah, I would agree. I really liked the story, what I had seen of it. Thought the voice acting was good. Loved the music. Liked the setting as well. I liked that it was taking place in the past. That was pretty cool. We got to see it from the medieval perspective, which I very much liked. So yeah, it was great. I really liked the game. And then the last comment I got on that video at the time where I printed this out was from Deason13, who is mentioning something not related to Vampire, but we'll talk about it anyway. Deason13 says, hi, Lotaeri. Just wondering, Do you know Eodor New Horizons has a new translated version, 20.0614.a? Eodor New Horizons, so Eodor Genesis is the game, and New Horizons is a mod for that game. I have a series of it on my channel of maybe close to 200 videos. It's an amazing mod. The game is wonderful as well. The mod just adds a ton of more equipment, a bunch of new spells, rebalances things so they're much more balanced with each other, does the campaign better because the other masters you're fighting in. It's a turn-based strategy game, but it's a really long turn-based strategy game. Imagine that you're playing like a Civilization game, or maybe you're playing like, I can't think of another one. I'm sorry, everyone. But let's say you're playing like a Civilization game, right? And you just beat the game. Well, that was one turn. Beating all the enemies. Like, you play the game, it takes you 40 hours. You beat that game. That was one astral turn. And the actual game ends after like 60 or so astral turns are done. So there's hundreds upon hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, which it requires for you to beat the main campaign. And I really like the game, but the game has a horrific bug in it. And it's a bug. I refuse to believe that the developers, this is the intention of the game, where the AI can level itself once every turn. And you can't do that. You can't as a human. It's not possible. You cannot do that. Not unless you cheat using the cheat engine. And it ruins every aspect of the game, because it throws the entire balance of the game out the window. Because on turn 20, when your hero's like level 8, and the enemy hero's level 20, with all level 20 units, you can't win. Not unless you do very specific things that abuse the AI's stupidity in certain ways, and abuse other game mechanics. And I won't do that, because I have to do that every single shard I play. And so I dropped Eodor Genesis New Horizons as one of the games I was uploading to my channel because of how awful it was when it occurred more regularly, and I'm not interested in playing the game until they fix it. So they released a version 20 about a year after I stopped playing the game, and it didn't fix the problem. I was watching a few Russian YouTubers play Eodor. I have been to the Eodor Genesis Russian website, the New Horizons website, every week since I stopped playing the game, like 2 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago, and it's not fixed. No, it's not fixed. So I've seen that they've tried addressing the issue. I've seen that some people say you should quit the game after every single turn for your initial 20 turns, and then it doesn't occur. I've been tempted to play the game again for my channel, but if I do so, it's gonna wait until November, because I'm playing these games. And with that said, that's all for these comments. But I'll have another one of these lined up in a few seconds, everyone, because Part 4 went up, and I will want to respond to your comments from Part 4 in this video as well. So give me a few seconds, and I'll be right back. Alright, everyone. I'm back to read the comments I've got on video number 4. So let's go ahead and do so. This should take much less time than the last video did. At the time of this recording, I only see 4 people have left me comments here so far. So, yeah, so hopefully this won't take 35 minutes. And also, thank you guys again for leaving comments. I really enjoy reading them. So the first one is from a gentleman whose name I can't pronounce. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to translate what looks like Russian to me to English, so I don't know how to pronounce your name, but translating it looks like it stands for glory, so I will call you that. So Glory has said, really appreciate your playing style. I've completed this game several times, but it's still quite nice and relaxing to watch your natural pace. Ah, thank you for that. I'm always worried that I'm playing the game a little too slowly. I do like, for example, I walk everywhere in the games, for example, and I'm always paranoid that people are going, well, I mean, I would like people to like what I upload, but I am aware that I take my time at playing these games to enjoy the atmosphere. And on that note, this is one of the reasons why I try talking so much as I'm walking from place to place, or think of something to talk to, because I want to be at least interesting to listen to. If you guys are doing something else while I'm playing this game and you have me on the background, or try to keep you entertained watching it as I'm walking from place to place, because I know not everyone's me. And almost no one is. In fact, I'm the only one like me that I know. And I don't even know why I do some of the things I do some of the times. I do them. So, thank you. That's always nice to know that someone likes the way I'm playing this game. He also says, nice chit-chat bit. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I had a lot of fun about that. So that sort of thing goes through my mind. I think he's talking about when I was in Stanley Gimble's and talking with you guys awkwardly while, waiting for Stanley Gimble to come back. I hate small talk. I'm not very good at it. I feel like if I'm not progressing what I'm working on with someone, like at work, I feel like I should say something. Like, I don't like awkward silences. I hate them. It's especially true when I'm playing a video game and I promise to talk during it. And so, quite often, if I'm not saying anything, the silence is really, like, oppressive to me. And I feel like I should say something. There must be something we can talk about. So, I find a lot of people talk about, like, sports ball or the weather when they're making idle chit-chat. So, I thought that was hopefully kind of funny. Bruno says, this Tim fella really likes looking at the girls in the magazines, huh? Well, they weren't all we had back in the early 20s. Early 20s, that was all we had indeed, Tim. Well, you weren't around in the 20s. You're not that old. I mean, the resolution on those magazines is really good, and I appreciate the art. The art, yes. And the funny sayings on them. Yes, that is why I looked at them. Bruno also says, I will not spoil anything for anyone that hasn't played it, but the true horror comes later. And I'm not going to mention the part that you mentioned it occurs in, because I even want that to be a surprise to anyone who doesn't know. But yes, there are some amazing horror parts coming up in this game. And I won't be talking during them, or talking very little, just like what you saw me do in Stanley Gimble's. I want to keep those really atmospheric. And finally he says, ha! Cheater got cheated. That'll teach ya. Yeah, take it. Stathis Koto says, Kokto, sorry. I feel very lucky to found your channel, Lotaeri. Thank you. I appreciate your hard work and enjoy the company a lot. Thank you, sir. I really like the comments I get from you guys. Thank you. Greetings from Sunny at the moment, Corfu. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, in Hellas. I think that's, here in America, we call that Greece, although it's not. Greece there's a lot more it's more of that area, I suppose to say. I don't know why Americans do this so often, but hello, right back to you from the really hot and still humid in mid-September swamps of South New Jersey here in America. It is bad. It is still bad. The air conditioning units are not going to come out windows probably until mid-October, just like last year. And the last comment I have is from Lord Gem Kingrock. And Mr. Kingrock, I don't see your comment on my video, but I see it as a response. So everyone, this happens from time to time. I don't remove comments from my videos. Well, I'll remove spam. I get these occasional, like, spam porn bots that show up, and I'll just click on them and say remove that comment. But otherwise, I leave the comments on my videos, even ones that are pretty harsh on me. I'll leave them up there. I might not respond to them. I might not even heart them. But I'll leave them up there. And, I'll let anyone say their mind, assuming it's not too insulting. Anyway, let's not get too involved in that. In any case, sometimes, though, I see a comment left by someone, but I can't reply back to it, and I don't see it on the video. I am not removing your comments, so YouTube is doing this, and I can't restore your comment. I can't go and make it visible. It doesn't let me do that. I'm so sorry if one of your comments ends up like this. And when I get one of these comments, I can only read the first portion of it. I can't read it in its entirety. So this is the only bit of it I could read from Lord Gem Kingrock, who says, see the sports ball last night? 13-32. What a draft. And Lord Gem Kingrock says, me, knowing nothing about sports, sounds about right to me. So, I don't watch sports either, so I was kind of making that whole thing up. So good. I'm glad it sounded Guys, it sounded about right, because I haven't watched sports in years. I don't watch the Olympics generally. Not for any reasons other than I just don't. The only sports I watch are esports, and even then I don't really watch them very often. I don't tend to watch television for that matter, and I don't go to live sport games either. But I've heard they can be a great deal of fun to go to. I can see the appeal to going to them, and I'm really glad people like sports, so the people who do. And, you know, it's really helpful to be athletic. You know, it gives you lots of exercise, and that's healthy for you. But I don't really follow sports. I don't watch American football. I don't watch soccer. No baseball. Nothing. No basketball. No hockey. Nothing. I don't watch any sports. So I know nothing about them either. 13-32. I wonder what game would is that even possible in American football? That's an awkward 30. How do you get to 32? Oh, that's no. That's not right. That's 8 points. What would that be? 7 points per. No, 6 points per goal. With 1 extra point I don't even know. But in any case, I'm glad you liked that bit as well, Lord Gem King Rock. And with that, we are done reading the comments. So now, I will be off to record the next part. Thanks for watching this, everyone.